Attachment. We go about our lives gambling on these self-imposed relationships between complete strangers. But the one thing that's undeniable is blood. This hard coding of attachment we can't escape that boils down to our very DNA. Where I'm from, we call that family. It's familiar. Your relationship to your parents or siblings, and that family spreads like embers trying to light another fire of hope with another, extending that fire to burn even brighter. But today, we're gonna test that fire's resilience. Today, we prod at the strength of the embers. Today, I show you how to beat up your little cousin in Tekken. What's good, everyone? My name is Sen. Welcome back to the channel and the start of a series of how to beat up your little cousin in fighting games. This is the first episode, and obviously we're going to be covering Tekken. This video is directly targeted at new or introductory players, and no, your opponent doesn't actually have to be your little cousin. Continuing as if it were, that little bastard's been talking a lot of shit about how things went down over Christmas, so I'm gonna show you some basic tools so you can put that little prick in his place the next time you see his ass. Unfortunately, this video will not help you if your cousin is an EVO finalist. He'd beat my ass too. Maybe between you and your opponent, things are pretty close, but they just end up barely getting the better of you in the majority of the games you play. First things first, we gotta start with a character. Maybe you already have something in mind, but for today's video, we're going to be working with Kazuya. This is sort of at the request of a comment in the previous video. In the future, we'll be randomly selecting the character in whatever games we're going to be doing next. Or if you guys want to give me a request for whatever game or whatever character we end up playing, we can do that too. Additionally, if you guys want me to run it back with a different Tekken character that we actually randomly select, also let me know. In the making of this video, my goal for myself was to hit red rank with Kazuya so I could get a feel for what some basic strong tools were, and I want to start things off with the main one strings that I used. Tekken notation is the exact same as Mortal Kombat's. Each corresponding limb is given a number, so if you're on PlayStation layout, square is 1, triangle is 2, X is 3, and circle is 4. So a one string just means strings that start with your left punch. These are traditionally going to be your faster strings, so these are really good for taking your plus frames. Now with the one string, there are two primarily that I used, that being 1, 1, 2. The first two hits of the string are high and the last ends in a mid. I gotta say, use this string sparingly. This is a really good call out to all the people that are ducking your highs or just basic punishes. I use this a lot to close out end of rounds where my opponent would whiff or I would block a rage art, but if this string is blocked, it's very punishable at -17. You can keep things a little bit safer just by going for the first two hits of this string, just with the 1-1, that'll leave you a lot safer, but if you do want to end with the mid, just be careful. Far and away, the main string that I spam more than anything is 1, 2, 4. This string is very good for a couple of reasons. The 4 is actually low, and you'll find out very quickly that at beginner levels, nobody blocks low, myself included. The other strength of this move is that it has a gap between the 2 and the 4, so if your opponent is mashing, the low will also catch them. There are a couple weaknesses to this string that don't come up much at low level. If your opponent is mashing, it's just 0 on counter hit, so the playing field is even. If they aren't, and it's just a normal hit, it's -3, so effectively that will be the end of your turn. If the 1, 2, 4 is blocked, it's -12, so it is going to be at minimum jab punishable. But there is one last strength that I wanted to mention about this string that I actually didn't end up using, because there is a more fuller version of the sequence, that being 1, 2, 4, 3. The 3 at the end of the string ends in a mid, so if your opponent is ducking, it will catch them, and even if it's blocked, it's only -2. But I don't think this can be mashed on. In my time in ranked, I wouldn't actually know, I just used the 1, 2, 4. In theory, this is really strong. After that, the next thing I take a look at is mids and or mid strings that I can make use of. The one I used more than anything was twin pistons. This move isn't actually called twin pistons, but it looks exactly the same as twin pistons, so whatever. The string we're talking about is down forward 1, and while you hold down forward, you add the 2. This move is extremely good. Both hits are mid and both hits are safe on block, and in certain situations this move will be a combo starter, and this move is equally good as a combo tool as well. I'm not exactly sure the situations where this move will start a combo, maybe on potential counter hit, but just be prepared for this move to pop them up so you can get ready to convert. The next mid string that I didn't actually get to use, but if I happen to keep playing this character, I will be, is back 2 to 1 plus 2. This is a mid string that ends in a high. It's safe on block with a decent amount of pushback on it. And honestly, it's not a terrible combo ender. When it comes to lows, this guy Kazuya doesn't have a ton of amazing lows out of what I've gathered.
Nothing like a snake edge that'll start a combo, but the key ones I locked in on were down back 3 and down back 4, which are both -12 respectively. And while this next move is a mid, a majority of the move's attacks are low, that being his hop kick, which is hold up forward and then mash 4. I use this a bunch because once again, people don't block low at low level. We have a couple more tools to cover before we actually get out of here and get moving and grooving. Some tools I made use of in neutral to poke and just something to throw out. Moves like forward 3, it's just a really good poke that is -13, but if spaced out, there isn't going to be a ton that they can actually do to contest this. And if it does happen to hit, it's +5. So consider just throwing out another poke after that if it does happen to hit. But be sure to keep this move spaced. Next up is forward 4. This move isn't going to have as much range as something like a forward 3, but you do get plus frames on hit or on block. I believe it's +4 on block and +7 on hit. So as long as this move connects to your opponent, you can take your turn and catch your opponent mashing buttons. Another move I regret actually not using is back 4. I really like having a roundhouse or roundhouse adjacent moves in my arsenal to check people that are sidestepping. This move is a heat engager. This just means if it does happen to hit, you can start some pressure on your opponent, but it's not the end of the world if it's blocked because it's only -5. For the slightly more advanced player, -5 seems to be the upper limit of sidestepping, especially if someone is going to commit to a full string. So if you're going to attempt to sidestep, I actually recommend you fully commit to a full sidewalk right away. Let's wrap things up with a little bit of cheese and a combo I can give you guys. The first bit of cheese is the main power crush that I use, that being forward 2. Power crushes are armor moves that will soak up some hits and also steal some turns in your minus frames on top of that. So doing a move or string that leaves you slightly minus and then doing a power crush right after that will typically get a lot of people at low level and get you some pretty decent damage on board. The main weakness of power crushes is that they primarily lose to lows and throws, but they can also lose to other power crushes depending on who does them first. The next little bit of cheese I'll leave you guys is up back 1+2. If you want to channel some of that devil energy, you can shoot a full screen laser at your opponent, and I only really would recommend using this move at full screen. This is a high, so it can be ducked, but the prime 2 situations I would use this in are right after I use my heat follow-up, and that move will kick them full screen, so I'll do that immediately after. The second time I would use this is if I were to hit back 2 to 1+2. This move also very easily pushes them full screen on hit. There's a lot of startup to up back 1+2, so I would not recommend using it up close. Let's talk combos. There's a handful of ways that Kazuya can get the party started that I actually try to make use of. If you have any level of execution, you can go for electrics, but I barely try to make use of it in my games. The input for the Street Fighter players is just going to be doing a DP motion +2, or for the unacquainted, it's forward neutral, down forward 2. Next up is the lucky hits with down forward 1, hold down forward 2. I'm not sure of the property, like I said, occasionally this move will start a combo. Just be ready if you do this move to convert off it. Next up we have forward 3. This is a really good safe combo starter that is also a mid, and on block it's only -3. Last but not least, the actual twin pistons that I'm referring to, not the move that I called twin pistons, but this move is from a wall rising state. So essentially you start out in a crouching state, and the moment you let go you input 1, 2. As a new player you won't find yourself in a crouching state a ton, but I primarily went for this move after doing down back 3. Down back 3 is -1 even on hit, but this for sure worked in my games. Something I did want to mention on the side is you actually can start a combo from counter hit down forward 2, so be ready if you have that move in your arsenal, and it can also lead to really good damage. With all these starters, if I could give you a combo that isn't too tough but will still give you pretty solid damage, is after whatever combo starter you end up hitting, you're going to convert off of down forward 3, 2. This string will help keep your opponent in the air a fair bit. The next part is going to be slightly tricky for the people that are unacquainted and just not used to how Tekken feels, but you have to pause for just a brief moment, and then your second input will be down forward 1, hold down forward 2. This move will put them in a tornado state, landing them on their back, and then we can finish off the combo with our ender, which will be back 2 to 1+2. I know this is a ton of information, but feel free to break this up into chunks so you can get a feel for parts of it and commit to memory, and then come back for the rest later. There is obviously a ton of moves I didn't make use of in his kit, particularly when Kazuya is in his devil form, but I didn't want to make the video too much more extensive than this, and all the moves I listed can be used in both states. This video isn't isn't going to help you as far as long-term improvement at Tekken as a whole, but it's mostly to get you moving and grooving so you can hit the streets. The more time you spend actually making use of these moves, you'll more fully understand how to use them. If you're looking to grow more fully as a fleshed out Tekken player, I would for sure point you in the direction of someone like VDX, who has amazing Tekken content for very beginners to more advanced content for you to chew on. I did the best I could for you as a non-Tekken player. Now it's time for you to go out there and get your reps in. I'll leave you guys one of my matches in my rank climb, and just remember to get ready for the next battle. Peace.
Fight!